Hey, it's Einstein Pluto, aka Charles Abel here. It's day 23 of my hunger strike for racial justice. All of you out there who've joined in, we really appreciate it. The support is just very much needed. You can imagine 23 days, liquids only, no solid foods. Energy levels are fluctuating on a daily basis, but I continue to work and maintain a normal schedule. There's lots of work to be done. This week has been an enlightening week. I mean, when I say enlightening, I've learned so much this week about America, about the situation we're in, and about myself as well. Okay, so let me start at the top. We need a ban on chokeholds, on no-knock warrants, and we need H.R. 40 Reparations Remedy Act bill to be taken up by the U.S. Congress. Now, I've been in contact with Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Mitch McConnell, Marco Rubio, because my state of residence is Florida. And I've gotten tacit responses. There's no appetite for taking up these concerns for Black people prior to the election. The focus is the election and making sure votes count. The focus is bickering over the next Supreme Court justice and the confirmation hearings. So this, what I call political theater going on in Washington, does not address the people, the needs of the people. Black Americans and their allies, and our allies, have been protesting for 120 days at least now. And Congress has not taken this up, has not voted on any substantial legislation that's going to give relief to the Black community. That said, let's get into what's been happening this week and why I feel enlightened. I'm enlightened because now I understand that it does not matter what a towering figure you are in America, whether you have led the fight for equal rights for women like notorious RGB Ruth Bader Ginsburg has, that before you're in the ground, they will start to talk about your replacement and not even give reverence, a mourning period for your life and your legacy. That's number one. It's enlightening to me to know this. Okay. Secondly, my Governor Ron DeSantis, the state of Florida, has declared that they will pass legislation called the Combating Disorder, Combating Violence, Combating Looting, and the Law Enforcement Protection Act, in which they take away the First Amendment rights of protesters. They basically say you're going to, number one, if it's deemed a disorderly assembly, which is at the discretion of the local police, you will be charged with a third-degree felony. Second, you will have a mandatory sentence if charged with that felony of a minimum sentence of 6 months in jail. You will be denied bail until you are seen and have your first appearance in court. And if you plan, organize, or fund what is deemed a disorderly assembly, you can be prosecuted federally under federal statutes under the RICO Act, which is for organized criminal enterprises. All right, and if you're a mayor of a city in Florida and you decide you want to reduce the funding for the police department, You will lose all of the funding that you get from the state of Florida. Okay, so this is sweeping legislation that is an attempt to strike fear in the hearts of those would-be protesters and then get you in the system and prosecute you and make you a felon, which would remove your ability to vote as well. So this is crushing for dissent. I believe it's unconstitutional. I'm not a lawyer, but that's where we are in the state of Florida, and I think it's a glimpse of our collective future. Okay, and then you couple that with the highly stylized legal theater that we saw in the state of Kentucky, in which none of the police officers responsible for the death of Breonna Taylor were prosecuted criminally, will be prosecuted criminally for those acts. Okay, and this was, clearly the strategy and the plan from the beginning, from Daniel Cameron, who is the Kentucky Attorney General.
I think homicide charges against all three officers would have been appropriate. Imagine if three gang members had broken into a house in the middle of the night and were met with a gun used by the homeowner, a legal gun, in self-defense. And in response, the gangbangers shot up the whole complex. I think that those gangbangers would be prosecuted for murder or manslaughter. I think when police officers do the same thing, it's still a crime.
They had a settlement 1 week prior to announcing that none of the officers would be prosecuted. $12 million to the mother of Breonna Taylor, which is the largest and fastest civil penalty or civil lawsuit that was settled in the history of the state of Kentucky. So that kind of told you there was nothing that was going to happen to the criminal police officers who committed this act. So the fix was already in. They knew it. And the whole game was to reduce the outrage, give her a big settlement, say they were going to have police reforms, then come back with the no bill, no criminal charges in her death, and then walk on. So again, enlightening to understand how the system is adapting and adjusting to the protests and to the outrage that we see now in the streets. I'm not going to hold you. We're here. We're fighting for racial injustice to have it eliminated in this nation. This is Charles Michael Abel, aka Einstein Pluto, signing off. God bless.